just give a bit of context to what we were talking about. So Brenton's gone and made a list of movies that we possibly like to go through as our honorable mentions list. I mean, this is spoilery. Do you want to say what's actually on there?
On the list?
Yeah.
They're all possible things. There's stuff on here that I don't think we'll do.
Yeah.
But it was me sitting on the train just like thinking, oh, we could do this, we could do that. That could have a good discussion.
Do you want to say what those movies are? Like, if we want to go through and say, well, we were talking about this and this is how our conversation got to where it was.
Well, I'd like to talk about Get Out, but I don't think we will do it.
Okay.
See, it's not really a scary movie, but it's a good movie for a conversation. Yeah. Because there was a lot that I spoke about with Jessica. So
basically, we were talking about, how do I feel about this movie? How do I feel about that movie? I really want to do that. I really fucking don't want to do that. And we got to Get Out, and we started talking about thrillers.
You said that you really don't want to do Silence of the Lambs when it comes up because it's in the 20s, and we're going to get there in the next couple of months. Yeah. And you don't want to do it because it's a horror movie.
Yeah, and so I started to talk about, because I've got anxiety, and I've just, why would I put myself in an uncomfortable situation? Because I was explaining, this is gonna get graphic. I fucking hate horror movies because why would I sit there and put myself in adrenal stress for no reason? I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I have anxiety. Like, it's physically uncomfortable for me to be afraid. Why would I put myself in that situation? Like, you know how most people are like, oh, that scared me. If I'm that for a prolonged period of time, like, my body hurts.
No, I get that. And I'm screening these movies with that in mind.
Yeah, which I really appreciate.
I think Get Out isn't that bad. There's no, like, real jump scares. It's not gory. There are tense moments, particularly towards the end there. There's, like, a holy shit moment, and then you sort of do feel...
Get Out.
Yeah, you do feel sort of anxious for the main character. Just because of the situation he's put himself in, sort of thing. But it's not like it's a thriller, not a horror.
Okay. Well, see, and there is a distinction there because I've watched a few thrillers and I do get uncomfortable.
Like Seven.
Yeah. Well, I liked Seven, but I really had to trust you to watch that movie. And
what did you think of it?
I really liked that movie. I really did. I'm really loud on there. Oh, well.
I can level it.
Yeah. I really liked that movie, but like I said, I was really nervous, and there was parts all through where I'm like, you better hold my hand, man, because I am just not feeling this shit right now.
Seven is more gory.
Yeah, and
there's some disgusting parts in there.
But it was just so interesting that it was easier for me that way.
Thriller,
well, yeah. It was like when I got tattooed, for the first time, I was so interested in how it worked that I didn't feel the pain kind of thing. Like, it was the same kind of thing. But then we were talking about, okay, well, I wanted to create a scale for what is the scariest I can do, because I am so not willing to go beyond that because it is just so distressing for me. Like, if you're not getting this by now, I fucking hate scary movies.
You just said that.
So... Is Disturbia considered a good movie? Is it considered a throwaway?
Think so.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I don't think it's very good.
Anyways.
I watched it when it first came out, and I was a kid, and I was like, this guy has an awesome room. I love his, like, Xbox, and he's just a cool house.
I had that stupid cell phone ringtone stuck in my head for so long.
Yeah. I quite like the soundtrack on it, actually, because there's a bit of Kingsley on. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but I'll admit that it's a shitty movie.
Yeah. And for that, like, was it... I don't want to go any more thriller-y or scary than that. It was fine, but, like, I don't want to go beyond that. That is my baseline for how scary I want to go. You said Silence of the Lambs is right up there, and Get Out are right on par with it. So they may be better movies.
Silence of the Lambs is worse in terms of scares than Get Out.
Yeah, because it's actually meant to be kind of scary.
It is, but there is a lot of build-up. There's a lot of just there's just a lot of the... It's a lot of talk around it and build-up rather than just like, here's a haunted house with like lots of blood and jump scares, right?
See, and I don't know how I'm going to do that.
See, something like It. Like the new It.
I do not want to see that fucking movie.
That is a scary movie. That's meant to make you feel on edge the entire time. Silence of the Lambs not.
Yeah.
But there is a scene towards the end where it kind of is.
Well, because
it's one scene. It's one part.
Because thrillers very much embody the climactic nature of storytelling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a build-up.
They have a very definitive, introduction, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. They very much have that story arc, right? Because that's the point. We started talking about horror movies. I do not do horror movies, man.
I'm just looking at the list.
Yeah. As
to what else in the top 100, let's say, is actually considered scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a much, okay? Silence of the Lambs is considered a horror, I guess. It's the only movie that's a horror it won Best Picture.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you should give it a try.
And if you've told me it's only as scary as Disturbia is, then I'm willing to give it a go because I could handle that. Was I uncomfortable through it? Yeah. Was I so terribly, uncontrollably uncomfortable with it? No. So I'll give it a go. I wanted to talk about horror movies for a second just because I've got a funny story. It's so weird. And that's when I said, you know what, grab the microphone because this is so weird. I've seen parts of scary things because they've been on the TV, and it's one of those, deer in the headlights fascinations.
You're creaking your elbow.
Oh. It's not even a fascination, it's that I hate it, but I can't look away kind of thing. So I saw some part of, I don't even know what it was, but it was at a diner. And I hate when they do this in public spaces.
This is in a movie or an actual diner?
This was I was out for lunch in or dinner or whatever. We were driving to Edmonton.
Right.
And we stopped to get something to eat. And instead of having the news on like anybody normal, they had the HBO movie channel. And there was something where there was this possessed alien or spirit or whatever. And this woman got possessed and she was seizuring all over the place. I'm like, why the fuck is this on here? Because I can't look away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much... Or if I do look away, all I do is listen to it because I can't help it. And I hate that.
They have the sound on.
Yeah!
They don't usually have the sound on.
And there was another one, I remember I was at a pizza place with my family right before we left Belize. Same thing. It was some scary alien movie. I was just like, nah. But the worst one, the one that makes no fucking sense, is that I used to volunteer at a nursing home, right? I used to go there, when I was 12 and 13, I used to volunteer and I'd go over every Thursday or whatever, and I'd hang out with the old ladies and fold laundry and play cards and whatever. And one afternoon, they had snakes on a plane, or Anaconda, or something on, I think it was Anaconda, on the TV in the freaking fireplace room where they knit. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And there was this old lady, she probably didn't even know what planet she was on, watching this shit, and I couldn't look away. And I don't like scary movies. I was like, why is this on?
Those movies are so bad that they're, comical.
But the thing is...
They're still graphic, I get that.
I can understand that they're comical. I can understand that they're stupid scary. That doesn't change the fact that, I can't look away and it makes me, adrenally uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Is that why you hate snakes?
No, I hate snakes because... Well, I don't hate snakes. I just... They're not my favorite. My brother had one. Whatever. They creep me out. Whatever. That's not why I hate. Okay. I don't like snakes. I don't hate snakes.
The other horror movie that's on the list, well, again, it's probably a thriller, is The Shining. How do you feel about watching The Shining?
How creepy is it? Where does that rate on my scale?
Okay, all right.
I mean, blood rushing down the hallway, creepy twin little girls I don't want to deal with. Blood rushing down the hallway is that's so unrealistic, but
it's
demons and stuff, that creeps me out because, is it there? I don't know. I don't want to deal with it.
Well, because it's not like the paranormal movies because they're all jump scares, right?
I hate being on edge.
It's all
this is making me on edge talking about this shit.
It's all building towards an idea, right? It's the thought of being in that situation that's more creepy than the situation itself. Yeah. That's pretty much what the difference between the horror and thriller is, right?
Yeah.
Horror has more gore. Thriller, you got to think about it.
Yeah. So, where does The Shining fall on that scale?
I have only seen it once. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it was made in like 81. I don't remember. And that is a classic. It's Stanley Kubrick, Jack Nicholson. I don't think it's that bad. I don't remember it being gory. Yeah, exactly. I don't remember it being gory.
Okay.
There's not many on the list. Harden up.
Well, I don't like scary movies.
What else do we have that could be scary?
I'm not watching. Do you remember?
Psycho. 1960, Alfred Hitchcock. Would you watch Psycho?
I don't know. I don't know what it's about. Where does it fall on the scale? If it's worse than Disturbia, I'm not watching it. Call me a pansy ass, whatever you want. Listeners, I don't care.
It's not... It's fine. You got anxiety.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's rated R. That is so G-rated these days. I watched it for the first time at my grandmother's years ago. There's one scene in there that can be considered really scary, and that's the classic shower scene.
Oh, with the blood and stuff.
Yeah, she's having a shower and he comes in and stabs her. Spoilers. But everyone knows that scene, right? That's pretty much it. It's black and white. It's really not gruesome. It's a psychological thriller where you have to like follow along with the story rather than what's actually being shown to you. But that being said, my grandmother's like, I can't watch this scene, this is too much for me. Mm-hmm. I couldn't go for a shower for like a week after watching this movie, because that's the reaction that it had back in 1960.
Yeah.
Everyone freaked out about it, and that's why it's a rated R. If you watched it today, you'd be like, man, that's nothing. That is nothing. So, yes, it's considered a thriller. Yes, it freaked people out at the time, but it should be rated at least PG.
Well, and with that one, I feel I can just feel myself being exhausted from even just talking about this, from being so freaking uncomfortable. But I feel like with that one, I know that the cinematography and the quality of filmmaking was, well, that it's subpar compared to today just because of the technology available, and that by virtue means it can't be that bad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
A scary movie made then is going to be way less scary, quote unquote, than a scary movie made today because they've got all the effects and freaking sound editing and fucking whatever that they have at their disposal to make it look as real and horrible as they can.
Like he used chocolate syrup as blood.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, how bad can that really be, right?
Yeah.
When I watched it, I only remember one scene actually being kind of scary or gruesome, and that was the shower scene. There could be more. I don't remember. It didn't stand out to me as a scary one.
It's not even the gore that bothers me. It's the suspense.
Yes.
I hate suspense. This is why I don't even do dramatic irony, because it's too much suspense. I'm like, when are you gonna figure out that like she's made a mistake? Like Three's Company is a pain in the ass for me because it's got too much dramatic irony.
They're not real. It's just a movie.
Yeah, but it's an uncomfortable experience, whether it's real or not, Okay. Like,
the very next movie on the list is American History X with Edward Norton. That's from 98. Not a scary movie. But I've heard it's really quite graphic in its violence. See, I would think that would make you on edge more than suspense. What do you think of that?
The things that keep me awake at night, and I can't sleep for a week after watching it, is stuff like getting possessed or like getting attacked by aliens. Mostly the getting possessed stuff or the ghosts or people like, like, I know I wouldn't be able to watch Paranormal Activity. I've heard they're so bad that they're comical, but like I can tell you that kind of shit because for whatever reason, some little part in the back of my brain says, but it could be real though, because ghosts, we don't know if it's a thing or not. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. It's
the mystery element.
Yes, I hate it because it's like.
So what if it's not paranormal and if it's just about murderers? It'd still freak you out just as much.
If it's suspenseful. Well, yeah, or like psycho thrillers where it's like this guy, this serial killer, like like, captures you. Like, remember that Kevin Bacon show?
No.
He did some show on HBO or some damn thing, and he was, like, part of this crime units thing, and there was something where somebody got captured and probed in the back of the head with a cattle probe, and folded up alive and put in, like, a 1 by 1 foot box. That, to me...
What have you been watching?
It's just on TV. Why do you put the shit on TV? I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm like, that to me is freaky. I don't want that because that could happen.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Ghosts. Apparently, according to my brain, that could happen.
You're very loud. Whereas,
like, World War II, it's gruesome and stuff. Like, I consider Saving Private Ryan to be quite graphic and, well, quote-unquote violent, and that was fine for me. It's not the gore that's the problem.
Okay.
You know?
Number 52 on the list is Alien. The first Alien from 1979. Would you consider that too scary?
That could be problematic.
That could be problematic. Yeah. I mean, it's a fictional alien on a spaceship. But there can be some suspenseful moments. It is a sci-fi movie from the 70s.
That could be problematic. Just based on what I know about Alien.
Okay.
I don't know. You'd have to tell me more about it. I'd have to see a movie trailer to tell you.
Okay. It does have, like, some of the practical effects of, like, the early Star Wars, right? So it's, like, not really realistic, but there are suspenseful moments.
I'm thinking about, like, the newer Alien movies.
Have you seen those?
I've seen parts of everything, man. Ugh. Just flipping through channels and stuff.
Then there's The Shining. Aliens is at 68. Really?
What's that?
That's the sequel to Alien.
Oh.
That came out 7 years later.
Okay.
There's really not many horror movies. That's pretty much it. There's 3 in the top 100. And they're all probably the 3 best horror movies ever made. You've got Silence of the Lambs, Alien, and The Shining. I think it'll be educational, and it's really not that bad.
Or, like, even, what's that new one that's just come out? That one with, is it Chloe Grace Moretz in it?
She has been in, like, 7 horror movie remakes.
The one that's out right now that's all over YouTube.
I don't know.
That one where she, like, hangs out with the old lady, and then the old lady, like...
Carrie?
Yeah, that.
Could be Carrie.
I wouldn't even want to watch that.
Okay. What about the original from the 70s?
I have no idea.
Okay.
They're so cookie cutter, though, aren't they? It's always person meets someone else turns out to be a psychopath, and then it goes from there. They try to kill them, they get away, and happily ever after.
Well, that's why it's so interesting when you get one that breaks the mold, and you're like, oh, this is something different. I have to think that way, or I wasn't expecting that, and that's how you manage to get in the top 100.
It was like the Roommate movie. Like, it's pretty much exactly the same as that, you know? Person A meets person B. Person B is a psycho. The end.
Yes.
That's how it goes.
I'm not seeing any other horror movies on here, so you just suck it up for 3 of them.
Well, according to you, they don't sound that bad based on my
Out
scale.
Of the 3 of those, Silence of the Lambs is definitely the worst.
But it's not that much worse than Disturbia?
I have only seen it once.
I feel like people listening to this are going to judge me thinking, that wasn't that bad.
No, it's probably a lot of people listening that's in the same sort of boat, because I know there's people like that.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if you think it's not that bad, fuck you. You don't know what my blood pressure's at right now, so never mind. Honestly.
I was gonna... you're like, oh, Silence of the Lambs, you know, as long as I trust you or whatever. And I'm like, well, there is a scene where this happens. And if I told you what it was, A, it would be a spoiler, and B, it'd be like, nah, fuck that shit.
You better, whatever it is, I'm gonna, fuck you, fuck, Brenton.
There is a scene.
You better pause it when it's coming up so that I can go and sit in the kitchen and not look at the TV. I'll listen to it.
Look, Jessica has seen it a lot more than me. Would you like to ask her? I've only seen it once. I remember it being okay, but there are parts where it It can be bad.
Wait, she's seen Disturbia and could compare.
Maybe.
Okay. Don't judge me, okay? Just don't.
I don't think people are judging.
But, okay. As long as, like, you know what? I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go according to my rules. I'm in control of what I see and don't see. And if I have to skip out on a couple scenes and you guys tell me what happened, that's just the way it goes. Right?
Yeah, but the one I'm thinking of in Silence of the Lambs, it's such an iconic scene and it turns the movie and the way you think about the characters. It's vital.
Well, then maybe I watch it without sound and you tell me what happens.
Okay. We could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember how influential the music and the noises, sound effects are. It is a very visual scene.
Are you trying to scar me? Like, are you trying to make my sleep worse than it is already?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to be...
I hate how much of a whinge I sound, but, like, seriously, people, I hate horror movies. I hate them.
You've got anxiety. It's fine. I'm trying to be...
You're trying to be as accommodating as possible, and I really appreciate that.
Well, I originally said it's not that bad. There are some scenes towards the end where it's suspenseful, but it's fine.
Yeah.
But the more I'm thinking about one scene in particular, I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually not great. Cool scene, though.
I don't want to know. You have to promise you pause it, and then you're going to... What will happen is you'll pause it, and you'll say... This is what's going to happen, because I don't care about spoilers if I'm not going to be able to sleep for a week, because that's not cool. So what'll happen is, we'll get to that point, you'll pause it, you'll say what'll happen, I'll decide whether or not I'm going to sit in the kitchen and not watch and listen.
You want me to tell you what it is now?
Yeah, because I don't even care. I don't care.
And it'll be months before you watch it.
Okay, yeah, so just tell me, what is it?
I mean... Hannibal Lecter isn't the bad guy in this.
Isn't he like a cannibal or something?
Yeah, but he's more of a consultant to Clarice as to getting this other serial killer, Buffalo Bill.
He's a convicted serial killer,
Yeah, he's in prison. High security.
Did he, like, wear people's skin or some damn thing? Okay.
In this movie, he cuts off a guy's face and wears his own skin.
Ew!
But it's cool scene.
I'm not watching that.
None of the movie?
Not that scene.
Okay, we'll stop that scene.
Yeah, and I'll go out and I'll listen and I won't watch it.
I mean, you don't see him cutting it off. It just looks like he's put ham on his face.
I'm not watching that.
Okay, alright.
Like, sorry. I think you realize, and I'm just, like, really... trying to be clear for my own well-being, like, I need to be in control of these situations that I'm going to be putting myself in. Because, like, I have a real problem with anxiety. So I need to be in control of my triggers, and that is one of them.
There's a movie called Judgment at Nuremberg. That'd be interesting.
Who cuts off whose face?
Look, there is a scene where he's wearing another guy's face. That's all.
It's gross.
It is gross.
This guy dead.
Yes. You don't want him running around the streets with no face on. That's even more gross.
Yeah, but it's worse still if he did it while he was still alive, which I wouldn't have passed him.
I don't remember.
Ugh. Gross. I don't like that shit because it's like, it's too real life because it's actually happened. Like, don't tell me that hasn't actually happened because it fucking has at some point in time. You know. Or even those shows where like those CSI shows with crazy people who steal kids and lock them in their basement and stuff. It's just like, no. No. Don't like it. Don't do it. Don't need to think about it. Too real life.
Well, I'm just looking at the list now. There's that Alison... I was going to say Alison Brie, but it's Brie Larson.
Oh.
The movie Room.
I've heard that's really good.
It is good. She won the Oscar for it. But it is that story of she was locked in like a shed for years.
But it doesn't involve like...
That has definitely happened.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It's probably happening right now. We don't even know about it. So how do you feel about those situations?
Well, that's different because, like, it's not the process of you're going about your life and then somebody steals you and then somebody does horrible things to you and then they kill you or they try to kill you and then you die. It's that, like, she's just being held captive in a room. She
was stolen and she was held captive in a room and raped.
Yeah, but does it show all of that? Like,
not really.
That's the difference for me, is that, like, I don't want to see it play out because then the process is right in front of my face. I'm like, that's great. That could happen to me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas, like, really...
I think the story is still pretty fucked up.
Yeah. But
I'm just trying to gauge what works for you and what doesn't.
I have seen parts of Room. I could
You've seen parts of Room? What the...
When I lived in dorm, people played all sorts of shit on the communal area TV, okay? I saw most of Interstellar there before I saw the whole thing. So, yeah, to me, like... The problem, too, is that, like, I can't look away from the scary stuff, right? Like, it's too gripping that I can't just turn it off. I don't know why.
Jaws is kind of a horror movie.
Yeah, but it's silly.
Yeah, it is silly. So. See, I would consider that in the exact same boat, pardon the pun, as Alien. Two horror movies from the 70s that sort of sparked this sort of genre or rejuvenated it from these great directors. They're suspenseful in moments, but they're not modern horror movies.
I think, too, and I mean, it's different now because I live in Australia, but, like, in my conditioning for movies...
Ooh, The Exorcist.
Fuck
that
off.
Sounds bad.
No.
I've never seen it.
I'm never watching that.
Number 246.
Or The Grudge.
That's from... Wait, but The Grudge sucks. This is from 1973. How bad could The Exorcist be?
I'm not watching that shit. I don't know if demons are real or not. I'm not watching it. Oh, Brenton, I don't like you. Why are you doing this to me?
The video is called The Top 5 Most Terrifying Performances in Horror Movies.
Oh my god.
And this is under The Exorcist. So maybe it is, but look, I'll screen this one. Look, this one is at 2:36, so it's gonna be quite a while before we watch it. It's fine, okay? We'll figure it out later.
We have to watch The Exorcist?
If it's still in the top 250.
No.
All right, we'll sort out a deal with Jessica.
You can watch it, and Jessica can watch it.
It'll be years away.
Doing this.
Calm down. Okay, you put your foot down on that one. That's fine. I'm saying there's 3 movies in the top 200 that could be slightly considered as horror movies. The Shining, Alien, and Silence of the Lambs. I'm asking you to please watch those ones because they're great movies.
Yeah.
And they're very iconic.
Yeah, and that's why I'm giving it a go, but like...
I'm surprised The Exorcist is in the top 250 at all. It is from 1973, but I'll look into it more before we get there. Chill. What about Dances with Wolves? As an honorable mention.
That's a good one. All right.
I've never seen it. Have you seen it?
Did you stop it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Just because?
Did you want to keep going?
Yeah, why not? I've seen Dances with Wolves... probably 4 or 5 times.
It's rated PG.
Yeah, it's not real.
I figured it was like an M-rated Oscar bait, like really big. It was Oscar bait, wasn't it? It was like it's like trying to make a big statement.
But there's nothing
really bad about it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, do people get shot? Yeah. Is there like a naked scene? Yeah, but I mean, like, it is very PG. Except for some of the concepts.
So you're okay doing that as an honorable mention?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to do that over The Martian.
No, that's fine.
Should we go back to what we were saying about which ones we want to do?
The Raid.
What's that?
The Raid. See, okay. I think we should do a mixture of films, not only for our normal list, but the honorable mentions, which we are for the normal list because it's quite a good mix. There's international movies. This is from Hong Kong. It's basically like a martial arts movie.
You know what I did really like? Was The Foreigner.
You keep saying that. I don't remember it being very good.
Did you see it?
Parts of it.
I thought it... See, maybe I just was really interested because of, because that was Chinese produced, and I thought it was just really interesting because it was, like, really political. Maybe if you didn't understand the politics of it, you thought it was just boring. I really enjoyed it for the political aspect. Anyways, tell me more about The Raid.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Radio.
It's very... Huh?
I said radio.
It's a martial arts movie that's got very good choreography and cinematography. It's basically like a SWAT team gets stuck in a single building and they have to like work their way out or something. I don't know. It's got that like self-contained in a building kind of like Die Hard feeling.
I was just going to say that sounds...
Can you not talk when you're away from the mic?
I was just going to say that sounds like Die Hard.
Well, the first Die Hard's very good because it's got that formula of let's stick to a small scale sort of thing.
Isn't there another Bruce Willis movie that's not Die Hard that's like that, where he's like a bomb squad guy?
Hostage.
Yeah. Same deal, hey. Sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah. I'd like to see that.
It's not bad. Parts of it are bad. The book is so much better. I had to read that for school.
Hostage?
Yeah. It's very good. There are parts of that movie that I really quite liked as someone who has read the book. Other parts just go fucking off the rails, batshit crazy.
That's kind of how it goes with movies.
Yeah.
And movies based on books.
As a whole, it's not a good movie, but I liked it more because I watched it when I was a kid and I've read the book.
Fair enough. There's some like that too, where you want to see it because... Okay, so The Raid sounds cool.
And there's a Raid 2, which apparently is better or like just as good as the first one, which is very rare for the movies pretty much in general. And
like you said, I'd like to give foreign films a go. There were a couple that I saw when I was at Pearson. I went to international school for my last 2 years of high school, and there were a lot of people from other places. And there was one that I saw that was Italian made about a very famous activist who was killed by the mafia because he was trying to eradicate the Italian mafia. And I'm sure we could figure out what it was if we wanted to.
Probably.
For a movie, it's all in Italian.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't good, but it's important. I mean, it wasn't bad. Let me put it this way. It wasn't exceptional. It was fine, but it was important, and I think it would be interesting to watch.
There's an Italian movie coming up in the 20s that I'm actually really looking forward to.
What's it called?
Life is Beautiful. It won, like, Best Foreign Actor and Foreign Language Film and at the Oscars and stuff. Because it was written, directed, starred, like, the same guy. It was very much his project. It's basically a slapstick comedy set during the Holocaust.
Oh,
so
jeez.
It's a really weird movie because you are kind of laughing for the first half, but I think I ended up crying by the end of it.
Oh, wow.
It's really powerful. And the Italian guy, you gotta watch his acceptance speech because it's like... He's cute in a, like, old man kind of way where you're like, oh, look at him. He's, like... trying to be
the main character.
The guy who did it, the actor, when he was doing his acceptance speech, he's like, I don't speak much English, but thank you very much.
Oh, that's funny.
He was a pretty funny guy. But that's a really good movie. There's City of God coming up, which is closer, further up or down on the list. I don't know. It's a better film from Brazil that I'm really looking forward to. Leon the Professional. That's kind of an American movie, but it's like French. That's got a very young Natalie Portman in it. Anyway, I'm looking forward to doing more international movies.
Yeah. No, me too.
There's quite a lot of Japanese on here, actually.
Yeah. I'm not... I mean, what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to mind watching those. I'm kind of looking forward to those too.
There's Strangers on a Plane I was thinking about, which is another Alfred Hitchcock.
It says Strangers on a Train.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
All right.
1951.
That almost sounds like Murder on the Orient Express. That's immediately what comes to mind.
Pretty much, yeah. It is classed as a thriller, but it's from the 50s. How bad could it be?
Yeah.
It's rated PG.
Well, and again, like I said, I'd
It's
be much
Hitchcock,
more willing
so-
to watch older ones than newer ones. Because, yeah, that just sounds kind of interesting.
I've never seen...
Well, it's like... Sorry, to go back to scary movies just for 1 second. It's like scary way back then was The Blob. You know what I mean? So, like...
The Thing.
Yeah.
From the Blue Lagoon or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know when that came out. I don't know what I was going to say.
Sorry. I had a thought.
I've never seen Murder on the Orient Express. Neither of them.
I read the book and I liked it, and I think...
I heard the new one was it was a good movie, but it was unnecessary because you could have just watched the original. They hit the exact same story beats. Or you could have just read the book. If you've read the book, there's no point in you watching the movies because there's no differentiation. And
I could tell you that the movie didn't follow some important points of the book. And I was like, why? It was a really good story.
Well, I'm not sure what they did with the remake. I would like to watch both of them. Have you seen the original?
No.
Movie? Well, how'd you know it didn't hit the points?
Because I'd read the book.
But you haven't seen the movie.
I'm just saying the movie didn't hit the points of the book.
But how would you know that if you haven't seen the movie?
Because I saw the trailer and it told me enough. I think we might have watched the CinemaSins thing or something, and I know it didn't hit.
The new one or the old one?
The new one.
Okay.
And I'd seen, sometimes you get quite a bit of information just from a trailer. Yeah. I got enough information from the trailer to tell you that it didn't hit all the points in the book, that it deviated quite strongly.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just my 2 cents.
All right. Maybe we should watch them.
Mm. I wouldn't mind.
Are there any other movies that you would like to do as an honorable mention? That you can think of, old or new?
There's ones that I like, but I don't know if they're worth adding in there. My biggest one was Arrival. I was glad we did that. I wonder.
What about Titanic?
Yeah.
That's not in the top 250.
That should be. Oh, and Finding Nemo.
That's in the top one. It's like 162.
Okay, good. It should be higher, but...
It should be higher, but it is in there.
Okay.
I can see why you don't like... If people don't like Titanic, but I really quite like it. I think it is a masterpiece in filmmaking.
I really think it is, because...
It won 11 Oscars.
That's worth something.
The other two movies that won 11 Oscars, Ben-Hur and Return of the King, are both in there. They're in the top 200.
Well... And the thing is, it had such a fan following, I don't understand how it's not up there. People loved that movie.
At the time, but I don't think it's
held up.
Well, I think it has. I personally do, but...
As do I.
People who are rating these things, I don't think that they hold Titanic in high regards.
I don't know why. Like, it was very historically accurate in...
That's what I love about it.
In writing and in production. There was so much care and detail put into it. There was so much effort put into it. You know? And it was a nice story.
Yeah.
Like, it was a nice love story.
There's a lot of reasons as to why it made so much money, and that's... I would like to do it.
Yeah, same. Now, I think it deserved to be in there.
I've sort of been putting these between... Old and new?
Yep.
Would you consider this an old or new?
Titanic would be old.
It's 22 years old. Okay, let's say 20th century or 21st century. Old and new. And it's in the 20th century.
Well, I'd even say in the last 10 years is new.
Okay. Anything older than that?
Yeah.
So if it's from 2007?
Yeah, that's still kind of pretty old. I mean, I don't know.
I think the year 2000
is kind of the cutoff. Yeah.
That's not a bad rough zone.
Yeah. Though I don't know that we'll have a whole lot that's in that kind of intermediary area.
We could if we come up with something.
Well, because either it sticks out in your mind with an older one because it's good, or it's something new that just came up and it piqued your interest. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but I don't like to do any movies that have been out in the last 2 years. I would have liked to sit down with.
Well, unless it's really good.
Like it takes a while to become a classic. Yeah, but it hasn't come out in the last 2 years.
2016. Oh, I guess. Barely there.
Barely. 3 years.
Any other ones? Let me think. What are ones that I've seen lately that I really liked? There's also ones that I just like talking about. Like, I didn't think Drive was a very good movie, but I thought it was an interesting movie with a lot to talk about. I mean, it's not worthy of an honorable mention, but just saying, like, there are
movies like that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there are movies that, like, I do like to talk about, and that's one of them. I thought it had some interesting themes in there. I'm just trying to think. Or, like, Tangled is my absolute favorite Disney movie, and I'd love to talk about, like, what makes a good animated movie. You know what I mean?
With Tangled?
Yeah, or Toy Story, or Finding Nemo, or whatever. Like, what makes a good kids movie? What makes it stick out? I mean, obviously there's the nostalgia factor, but Tangled came out when I was like 13 or something, and it's still my favorite movie.
There's a stretch here that's got My Neighbor Totoro right next to Howl's Moving Castle. Those are Studio Ghibli movies. So they're animated Japanese films from a particular studio. It's basically Japanese Pixar, Studio Ghibli. They're very well known. They've been doing it since the early 80s or the 70s. But to have two of them really close to each other, we could have that discussion then, maybe. But there are Toy Stories around 100. They're at 132 and 134.
I just think
we could definitely have that conversation somewhere. Or
like even thinking about Disney, you know what I mean? Because they've been so iconic. Because I think kids' movies are just shit lately. And I don't even think, is that partially a bias because I grew up with masterpiece classics? Probably a little bit.
Yes, but you probably think that they're masterpieces more than what they are because then of that nostalgia.
No,
effect.
That's what this collection was called, was Disney Masterpiece Classics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like the Vault.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had a whole collection in the 90s, and I remember that because it was always on my VHS. It was like, Disney Masterpiece Collection.
Well, I think they're still adding movies to the Vault.
Yeah.
But they're few and far between. Which they were always.
Like, I just think about what was big when I was young.
Are we too loud?
Maybe, I don't know. Nemo and Toy Story, and I think those are so much better than freaking Trolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no one's putting them in high regard. Yeah, but stuff like Boss
Kids
Baby got nominated.
Or like the Minion movie. Oh, you know what I mean?
That just exists to make toys. That's where they get all their money from, merchandising. You can get a Minions version of everything.
Yeah. I do think kids' movies have kind of gone shit lately. That's just my opinion. I think the kids' movies that I grew up with are better than the kids' movies now.
I think that's a bias. I think you have to look for them.
Look for the good ones.
Yeah, because
I think maybe part of it too. Am I watching contemporary kids' movies? No, so you're right. I could be. Are you?
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, what's the Despicable movies about? You know what I mean? So I would watch those, and I'm like, this is fucking terrible because it's not funny. Well, when I was a kid, there was like Shrek and Madagascar and stuff. They're not good movies. They're terrible movies. Or is it that in the 90s you only remember the good ones because they're the ones that stand out? While if you were in the 90s, there actually is a lot of shit. You just don't remember them now because it was 20 years ago. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I remember growing up, I watched a fair bit of TV, and I would remember I was that kid who could quote commercials, right? I was that one. Sensodyne, twice a day, helps the pain stay away. That was me.
You watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. So I always saw the trailers for these kids' movies because I watched a lot of, like, Disney Channel and Family Channel and shit. And that's why I say I think there's more shit now. Just, like, look at even the kids' shows that are on today. They're such garbage.
Or was it that just you would watch garbage when you were a kid? Maybe it's the same level of quality, just slightly different.
No, because there was stuff on. I think it's more tailored to, like, it's all cookie cutter now. Whereas, like, you had stuff like Degrassi.
Degrassi's your first go-to?
Well, I never watched it, but I'm just saying, like, that was actually more tailored. I think that was more reflective of teenage life than the shows that are geared towards quote-unquote teenagers now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe you're not just seeing enough
teenage
movies these days.